Good morning. It's Monday. Welcome back to the farm here. We've got our anhydrous bar still in the shop. We're waiting on some parts on that. I don't think we're going to get them today, but we will see. But you guys will remember back to Friday evening, we were working on the lights on our 8R. That tractor's in the back of the shop. We got our new LED lights and got most of them installed, but we got a little more to do on that. So I think we're going to keep working back there this morning. Does look like we need to do a little cleaning up on our bench here. That's what happens when you start working on projects and don't finish things because waiting on parts and get parts, pieces everywhere, and it is what it is. It'll be okay. Oh yeah, we got some new tools here last week. Phil did a little shopping for us. We got some upgrades. So you guys remember Brock broke my 1/2 inch, right? Did we get that back? Is that in the drawer? Yep, it is. So there's a service center real close to us that sells Milwaukee tools, and they fixed this. They were able to clean stuff up inside and said it works now, so that's good. But we had kind of decided that if this was going to cost more than $150 or whatever to repair it, we would just buy a new one because cheaper, or not cheaper, but make more sense than fixing a 8 or 9 year old impact. But we rarely use this high torque 1/2 inch anymore because we have this one, this kind of mid torque 1/2 inch that does basically everything we need it to. And so we had thought, well, if we got that one for the 1/2 inch stuff, let's buy a 3/4 inch. So that when we're doing bigger stuff, we have one with a bigger, for the bigger sockets, which we have in here. So we got that. So we now have we have that one there that's a 3/8. We've got that mid torque 1/2 inch that's over there. We've got the high torque 1/2 inch. We've got the high torque 3/4 inch. Phil got another stubby 3/4 or 3/8 impact, so that's nice. And then he bought the big one. We got the 1 inch. It's not in here. I wonder where he's got it. 1 inch extended anvil. It's going to replace our air impact, and it's going to be awesome. Let's go find it. I haven't seen this thing yet. I'm assuming over here where we keep the air impact. I assumed wrong. Where is it? Gotta find it. There it is. It barely fits in there. You got it in the corded drawer because there's not room in the... Oh yeah, that thing's gonna be awesome. So hopefully when we're changing tires on tractors or whatever else, semis, this will be a lot more handy than getting the big air one out. And when we're not in the shop here, we'll be able to do stuff if necessary. So cool. I'm excited for that. Now the bench doesn't look better. It is a little bit. And I cleaned up all these boots. Decided to throw them on the shelf. They're going to end up getting thrown away. I know that's how it's going to happen. But we're going to keep them for a year and see. Just make sure. Anyway, let's figure out what we need to do for our lights here. So we got all the lights around the cab done. The ones on the back fender. Brock got these ones on these arms done on Friday there. We still have the ones in the grill to do. And these ones are a little more difficult, but we'll figure it out. So the first thing we're going to do is try and figure out how to get this one out. I've got the new one sitting there. I think we need to just take these ones that hold the kind of the whole housing in out. I don't know. We're learning. Okay, well, I was wrong. You don't take those bolts out. The lights just kind of pull right out of there. These 3 screws that they're mounted on, they're just in like a little, I don't know, they just pop off. I just pulled them off, so I just pulled them out. Now there is a little rubber grommet type seal thing on there. I don't know if we need to move that over. I'm guessing not. Doesn't look like it. We'll see how the new one fits in there, but I gotta put these other bolts back in. All right, now we're figuring it out. So I do need that rubber boot on there. So yeah, like I said, these lights just kind of snap in there. There's one bolt or screw that faces forward, and that sticks out of this little hole, or it doesn't stick out of it, but it's in that hole so that you can stick a screwdriver in there, or a Torx driver, and adjust the angle of the headlights. We're gonna have to do a bunch of that, I suppose, when we get this done. The other two just snap in, so they're here and just snap on the studs, and then that bottom one snaps in there. We gotta clean that up a little bit. We gotta get this rubber thing off of here, clean that up, and then stick it on the new light and push it in there. And you can see how these are kind of split there, where they just snap over those screw heads. So we'll go clean this up and get the other one in. All right, we got our two lower ones in. Those are low beam headlights. That's what these are. The other ones up there are brighter work lights and high beam road lights. So we got to figure out how those come out. Looks like at least some of them are the same way. So we're going to have to crawl up in here, I think. Stand up on our weight bracket and see what we can do. 3 of them should be the same. 2 of them are the same, and 1 of them is different. That's what it looks like. 3 of them are HIDs. It'd be this one, that one, and this one, and they've got the transformers that go with them, and all of that stuff, I think, can or should or does or will come out. Okay, I got those out of there. I'm trying to stay out of the light for you. This one here, though, came apart a little different. I'm not sure if this whole rubber boot thing needs to come off on this one. It is with some like push nuts on there that I'm probably going to destroy trying to take it apart. So I want to look at the new light before I do that, before I destroy it. But the other two came out of there relatively easily. I think they're the same light, but they're a little different bracket, or at least how they attached. So we gotta look through our new ones and see how we do this, because I know we got 3 of them that have the same part number. Well, here's the one with the rubber boot, and it clearly has its own, so that does indeed need to come off of there. So we can figure that out. This is the one that's going to replace like the one in the corner. That was this one. Direct replacement. This bracket here, I had to take off with it because the plug was attached to it. That's the one that came off with the rubber boot. That's all included on the new one, so we don't need any of that. This one was the kind of the HED in the center, and it has this big long arm on it here and how it attached. That's this light. However, when I open the package, she's broken. This arm broke off somewhere along the line. So, we're going to have to call them and ask about that. And we got those amber ones we got to deal with too, so I could probably figure out how to glue that together, but it's not ideal. So, I got to call them anyway, so we'll try and call about the, yeah, we'll finish the rest of it, see if there's any other issues, but it looks good. Okay, update. We're not doing so good here. I broke one. Dang it, I broke one. This one here. So it's got these bolts. They're kind of like this. They got a head on them, and you got to snap them in, right? This one's backwards from the other two. Well, I broke it. Can you see that? Broke it. Broke both of them. The head of the bolt, this, doesn't fit in there very good. I can't push it in there with my thumb, and I had it still installed, and I kind of put it up to it and just bumped it with my hand, and it broke that one. So I'm doing this one, but I took the screws or those bolts out, and I am using the heat gun to soften that plastic up a little bit so I can push them in there. It worked for the first one. I don't know. Now I'm frustrated. It's okay. We'll be fine. Okay, so now we got that in there. Now we got 3 issues to call about. Crap. Okay. I didn't break that one. I promise I didn't break the first one that I found that was bad, but I did break this one, so we'll see what happens here. All right, now I should be able to get that one in, and then we should be able to put one of these in that I already kind of have back there, and we can take the other side apart and see how that goes. That worked. Okay, so we got those 2 back in there. I don't know if I can do a whole lot more. The one with the broken arm goes right here. We've got those two other spots, like this one, that go in there, but this one has to get put in first, and that's the one that I broke. So, we can take these out, but that's about as far as we can go right now. And I think we're just going to let it sit. Because I have to put this one in first, so I can't even put this one. I could probably do that one. Yeah, but that's about it. Okay, well, this is what it is. Let's see what we need to get. I want to look at those flashers again and figure out what we need to do there, and then I'll make a phone call. Okay, let's see what we get here. First thing we're gonna do is hit the flashers. So those work. Very nice. The problem is, those are not amber. And they're supposed to be. The front two are not. The back two are not. So we're going to call about that. Okay, turn those off. Ooh, that light is bright. That's just two on that side. Two of the three. Yeah, okay. All right, let's get out real quick and look around. Top of the cab lights look good, look good. Rear fender lights are freaking bright. Good, and good, and good, and good. Our mid-post lights are good. These two are good. That one is good. That one is good. I did end up changing this one, but we have not changed those two yet. So, you can see the color difference there. This is a halogen. This is an LED. This is an HID, xenon. And those ones are good. Okay. Well, I called the light people. Got these lights from Larson Lights, by the way. And boy, they were on top of it. So talked to Kenny over there, and he pretty much basically said, "Yep, I can send you the new plastic." So you see where I broke this one. He's going to send me this plastic piece to fix that. The amber lights, he said I was the second person to call with that problem. So apparently something at their factory is it's wrong LED chip in there or something, and he said that one might take me a while to fix it, but we'll send you the right ones when we get them as soon as we can. I said, okay, no problem. So we might have to throw our old ambers back in if it's going to be, you know, to the time when we start using them. And then this other one that was broken, he's going to send me this plastic arm as well. So sounds like it's an issue or something that they've dealt with in the past. But yeah, we'll get them. And they've already sent me, within 5 minutes, sent me an invoice for $0 for all of the replacement parts and stuff that they're shipping out now. So should I get these pretty quickly. I think we waited a long time for the order to get here initially because some of them were back ordered and they just waited till I got them all to ship them. But yeah, good service. Thanks, guys. So I'm going to go and eat lunch here pretty quick. I think, I'm trying to figure out what to do this afternoon. I think we might start working on this tractor here. I was hoping to get the anhydrous applicator out of here, unhooked, have more room, be able to clean it up a little bit, and then start working on stuff. But it might be a couple of days before this gets out of here if we don't get our parts, which I don't think we're going to get, almost definitely not going to get today. So maybe we should start working on this. Like I said the other day, we are going to do fairly significant, substantial service work to this. We're going to cover all of the 1,500-hour intervals, which is hydraulic oil and stuff, and that I'm not as concerned about, but it also is the oil in all of these bogey wheels and idler wheels on the track system, and we'll go through the book and see what all it says, but yeah, that's going to be sort of involved, I think. So basically inside the hub on all of these idlers, there is gear oil, I think. I believe it's 80-90 weight. I'll have to double check that. But it needs changed. I think it's a 1,500-hour interval, and so we've got to pull these caps off in order to get that oil out of there. We're going to make one heck of a mess unless we actually pull the bogey or idlers off, and so we're going to take all of these bolts around off and then pull that wheel out of there, put a catch pan under, take these bolts out around here to take the cap off of there, let the oil drain out, put the cap back on, pull this center bolt out, and put new oil in through that hole. That's the process. It's going to take a little while. We might need to fab up some tools. We've got to figure out if we got to take these idlers off, which that one might not make as big of a mess. We can try and get some kind of a funnel or something underneath there. So maybe we don't need to do those, but we might have to detension the track, which we're going to need a detensioning hose because I don't think I have one of those, so we might have to buy that or go make one or something, and maybe we won't actually get anything done today on it, but we can get everything set up so that we're ready. Once we do, we'll start figuring that out after lunch here. Fog's finally starting to lift. It was really foggy this morning. The boys didn't have school today because of it. We had a little ice yesterday. Driveways and the roads were a little slick this morning too. That's gonna melt off pretty quick. It's supposed to be in the 40s most of the week, so I don't know if that's good or bad, but it is what it is. Well, let's do a little light reading, shall we? Lubricants. Let's see. Engine oil. We know what we're using there. Other lubricants. SD polyurea grease. I have to find it in the actual spot where it talks about servicing the tracks. Let's find that. Well, here's our maintenance chart. So here's our 1,500 hour interval. Change transmission / hydraulic oil. Clean hydraulic oil suction screen. Change transmission hydraulic oil filters. Change rear differential, transmission, and hydraulic oil, which is kind of the same as that one, I think. Change mechanical front wheel drive wheel hub oil. We don't have that. Change mechanical front wheel drive axle housing oil. We might have that. Actually, we do have this hub. That's the big one on the drive wheel up there. Right there. Yeah, okay. So we gotta do that. Lubricate. Draft link support bushings. Change DEF tank vent filter. Change fuel tank vent filter. Check. Oh, check. Mid-roller oil level. Check track upper roller oil level. Check idler wheel hub oil level. Change SCV pilot valve filter. I'll have to figure that out. That says check, not change. Okay. Interesting. Here's the section about mid-roller oil level. I'm checking it. John Deere High Guard oil or equivalent. So we're not using Gear Lube. We're using High Guard, which is good. We have lots of that. Just checking it. Just checking it. Well, I'm a little confused and sort of shocked. I just texted my tech up at the John Deere dealer to see what they say, but the book does not have an interval for changing the oil in these hubs. Just says to check them at 1,500 and add some oil if necessary. Does not say anything about draining them. Didn't expect that. So we do have to change the oil in here. And we are going to do the transmission stuff for the rest of the tractor, the machine, but we are not going to do that, until that bar is out of here. So that significantly alters my plans. These will be easy to check if that's all we've got to do and not actually change them, but we'll see what he says before I make that call for sure. Well, I tried doing some research online to see if I could find anything about the maintenance on these. I can't. So it appears that all we have to do is check them. We're going to go through and check them right now. If we got to change stuff later, we'll change stuff later. But if the only maintenance on these tracks is to pull this plug out. Oh, that one's got oil in it. Once every 3 or 4 years. Well, that's pretty simple, isn't it? Try not to get it all over the tracks and the floor and everything else, but that's what it is. Not too hard. There are a bunch of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 2 is 10 plus 4 more. 14 on just the rear tracks. best to finish taking it out by hand rather than with the impact. Well, that one seems dry. Okay, so now we got to get a little what is it? Zip tie. Stick it in there. See if we can dipstick it. Yep, she's still got oil. That's clear oil. It's good. It's fine. Come on. There is a company that makes these caps. They make an aftermarket out of like a polycarbonate. They're clear, and you can just look at them and see if there's oil in them or not. It's like $800, $900 for the set for the whole tractor. I thought about getting a set of those. That was more so when I thought. Oh, that one didn't come pouring out either. That I was going to have to, be changing this every 3 years. Because they come with a drain plug on one side too. I think a little easier. I can see the oil in this one. It's fine. Yeah. Yeah, there it comes. But if all I got to do is pull this plug out every 3 years, I don't know. Of course, that would make this easier. Then you don't even have to. You just walk around it and you can check it more frequently. Make sure. And then if you had a leak, you would know about it quicker. Yep, that one's good. Well, I haven't found one yet that's a problem. They've been low. I mean, there's a couple that the oil doesn't come pouring out, but I stick my zip tie in there and it's right at the bottom of the hole, so they all seem to be okay. I checked them all. They were all good. Like I said, a couple of them didn't have the oil pour out, but you can see it, or it's right at the bottom of the thing. So, yeah. So we've had this tractor for 3 seasons now. Run it for a full 3 years. And it's got a little over 1,200 hours on it. I'll have to look up the exact, but less than 1,210 or right at 1,200. This is the first tracked tractor that we have ever run. I never ran an 8RT. I did drive that 9RX a little bit last fall, or 2 falls ago now, I guess. But we've never owned one, so this is it. This is our experience with it. First time I've done this kind of maintenance and stuff to it. So, but we were, I don't know if concerned is the right word, but we're wondering how, how are the tracks going to hold up? How are they going to wear? We do a fair bit of roading with our trips back and forth to our farm at Berkey. That's 35 miles one way, and we're making that trip probably at least 3 times a year. And so let's go through and just look at it and talk about this a little bit. So as far as the drive components and the idlers and the wheels and stuff in here, they look great. Like, there's hardly any wear on these bars here. You know, on that spoke that's driving it. I would assume same thing on the front here. The paint's wore off is about it. You look at the idler wheels and the rubber on the outside of them, it looks to be in great condition. There's no cracked edges. There's no cracking across it. There's, you know, there's going to be a little bit of wear, but it's not significant. It's not wearing side down uneven, anything like that. Same thing on our mid rollers or the bogies here. Like, they look really good. Nothing that causes me any concern in how those are. You look at our guide lugs on these rear tracks, they're in really good shape. Nothing really to be concerned about there. Even as we go around and look at the inside, you want your wear to be even on everything. This one looks bad, but that's just from the water, from it washing and stuff. Oh, look, there's just a husk. But yeah, these are in good shape. Something there's a little indent, you know, got a stone or something trapped in there at some point and pinched it, but nothing really to be concerned about. Guide lugs look good. Everything's wearing really, really well, and they're all about the same from that standpoint, the fronts and the backs. So the front tracks, obviously, are smaller. We've only got 2 bogies instead of 3 like the backs, but again, same thing. We don't have any excessive wear, cracking, chipping, breakage, you know, rubber delaminating, anything like that. So then you look at track wear, and you can look at the treads and everything. The fronts look really good. Like, yeah, we're getting some wear on them, but nothing's, you know, there's just a little dimple there. Nothing too crazy. Here's a little cut in one. You get a little cracking going on here. These got 1,200 hours on them. They're not new tracks anymore. This one was replaced halfway through our first year, so it's got a few less hours. A couple hundred maybe, not significant. But they all look really good from that standpoint. I'm not concerned about really anything on the tracks. Now, the rear tracks do have more wear. I'm assuming that's from pulling a heavy planter around, more rear weight. Even this bar here puts weight on the back of the tractor. And our long roads, you know, road trips and stuff, I try and keep it light as much as possible, but it happens. So, yeah, I don't know if the camera's going to see this or not, but there's a kind of a weird cupping pattern starting to happen here. There's like an edge right here on this on these lugs, and it's on every one. They're all the same. It's on inside and out, although probably more significant on the inside than the outside. And I can't really explain the pattern other than that it's just how they're wearing. So from everything I read and in the books and everything else, it says as long as it's, you know, not uneven from track to track or from side to side or anything like that, it's not really to be concerned about. You're going to get this irregular wear pattern on the lugs. It's okay. Yeah, they're wearing. At some point, we're going to have significant maintenance costs with replacing tracks. That's the nature of the beast. I think the tracks are worth it. I wish we could run wider tracks. That would solve a lot of those issues, especially the roading issues. But with this bar, we can't really run wider tracks. You can see over here on the other side, this rear track, same thing. You can see that same kind of wear pattern. That one sort of shows it up really well. So I don't think it's unnormal. I don't think it's anything to raise alarm bells about and be super concerned with. It's just kind of the nature of it, and it is what it is. Overall, I think everything's holding up really, really well. I've heard horror stories about, you know, the rubber delaminating off of these bogie wheels and being problems and stuff, and we've had none of that or anything that even looks like that. So I'm pretty happy with it. Is what it is, and it will be fine. And if all the maintenance is pulling those plugs once every 3 years and a couple shots of grease, that's pretty easy. It's not really that much maintenance. It's just the cost of stuff when you do have to replace them is more than tires. But we have to replace one track per side rather than two tires. So I don't know. I'm sure the tracks are more expensive than 2 tires. But point being, there's less of it to replace because of the fact that you don't have the duals on there. So now you do have all those bogies and idlers and stuff that if they need to get replaced at the same time, yeah, that's going to be pretty expensive. I don't know. We'll see. And we'll see how long they wear compared to what the tires did, like on our 8R. You know, we've replaced fronts on there at least once, maybe twice. Probably just once in 4,000 hours, but we've also done rear tires on it that 8430 maybe has gotten 2 sets of fronts at this point. So yeah, those tractors require maintenance and new tires and stuff too. If we can get the same life out of a set of rear tracks as we do rear tractor tires on the 8R, I would be happy with that. I spent a little bit of time cleaning the cab out, just walking around the tractor, looking at stuff, picking some dirt off, and there's a bolt I'm going to tighten up on a light that always likes to point itself straight up in the sky. But I think we're going to go down to the seed warehouse, look around down there a little bit. I think I need to plug one of my forklifts in. See this light? This light right here, for some reason, when you're running, it does this. And it ends up pointing straight up in the air. So we're going to point it back where we want it. About like that. Tighten it up a little bit. Hopefully that keeps it from moving. Anyway, yeah, I think we're going to go down to the seed warehouse. I'm going to work around down there for a little bit. It's 4 o'clock now, so, and then call it a day. Tomorrow morning, I've got another meeting at one of my retailers about fertilizer, foliar stuff this time. I'm going to go see what I can learn, but I'm pretty skeptical because of my results. So, anyway, we'll see down at the seed warehouse. Feels like a mid-March day, not a early February day. It's warm and muddy. Well, I decided that since it's warm out today and it's the nicest day we're going to have for a while, I better do a little heavy washing of the treater. We never cleaned it up after wheat, which is bad. I should have done that a long time ago, but we'll get at least the heavy stuff cleaned off here today. And the kids have decided to come out and join me since it's decent.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, boys, come here. Yeah, come here. What do we have to tell everybody?
Thank you for all the money and the Kids Heart Challenge.
Yeah, you guys were super, super generous. I don't remember what day that was. Maybe last Thursday's video or Friday's video.
Thanks.
They asked, hey, stay here. They asked for some donations for their Kids Heart Challenge at school. There was a link in the description on that video. You can go find it if you want to, but how much money have you got, do you know?
Like $544.
Something like that. Almost $600 for each of them. Thank you. A lot of you guys donated to both of them instead of just one, and that was awesome. So thank you guys so much for that. I know the lighting's not good here, but yeah. Say it again.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. How are you, sis?
I'm here.
You're here?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got your bear coat on?
Yeah.
And your jammies and your rain boots?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we never got dressed today?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you having fun today with brothers home? What?
Brothers.
Well, they're going to play in the snow and the ice. You better be careful. You'll get all wet.
Oh.
It's wet out. Muddy.
Mud?
Yeah, it's muddy. Good thing you got your boots on.
Yeah, I need a raid.
You need what?
I need a raid.
Okay. Okay. Well, this thing's a lot better than it was. It's not done. It's not perfect. I may at some point want to take it down to the shop and work on it inside there. I was thinking about putting new hoses on this year. At least need to do the squeeze hoses there. I don't know what they call them. But it's a little peristaltic pump there that squeezes a hose to meter the chemical. So should replace those every year. I got most of the red dust off and the dust off the top. Wheat was the last thing we treated, and wheat is very, very dusty. And so you gotta clean it up good, especially between wheat and beans, and then a couple of times throughout the year while we're treating. But, you know, I try and do it after we're done with wheat, after we're done with beans, before we switch crops as thoroughly as I can, and then as needed in between there. All right, guys, thanks for watching today. Not the most productive day, but we got some stuff accomplished. Got those lights as far as we could go and figured out what we needed to get there, and figured out what we need to do on this maintenance stuff. Oh, update from the John Deere tech. He basically said, yep, it doesn't say to change it in the book. The 9RXs say the same. There's no DTAC cases about it. Like, people questioning it. So he said you don't have to change it, but you can always change the oil. It's never going to hurt it. It just might be sort of messy and stuff. And so I don't know. Well, we'll see. We might go ahead and change it, but if I'm going to change it, then we'll probably buy those clear caps to put on, because that'll allow us to check the level super easy. Also, they have a little drain on the bottom, so you don't actually have to pull the caps off, and make it a lot cleaner to do it in the future. So that's what I'm debating about. So anyway, tomorrow morning I've got a meeting at that fertilizer retailer like I was talking about, and then we'll see what we can find to do in the afternoon. I haven't talked to Brock, don't know when he's going to be around, but we'll find stuff to do, I'm sure. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below, and we will see you tomorrow.